It works great lately, but it takes longer to load. There it is. We are live. Good morning. It took 11 minutes this morning to get us started on the StreamYard Facebook network. We're also live on the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel. On Facebook, you can watch and participate on the Dave Globin profile and in the Boogie with the Bull Uncensored public group. So please come in and join the broadcast with any comments that you might have as we go. With us, genealogist is with us, and he has about 56 minutes before he has to leave to be with a genealogist client. So, hey, Randy, while we're here, tell people what genealogy is and what you do and why they should talk to you after the broadcast.
Sure. So ancestry and genealogy is kind of like hand in hand. They're a couple. Ancestry is simply creating your tree and trying to go back as far as you can. I actually had a lady, and I won't give out any information. She tells me that she's related to Jesus Christ, and she showed me the proof. And I kind of doubt it. There has to be a mistake somewhere, but I'm curious. And I'm going to take some time to look it over. But she's related to me, so maybe I'm related to him as well in that respect, as far as an ancestor. But
I got to cut you off Jake, for a second, and I apologize for doing so. Are there any members of Jesus's the Jesus family, Earth family? Are there any generations still left?
Well, see, that's the whole point, because she sent me the proof of the connection to her all the way back. Now we do know that Jesus, is the Son of God and was immaculate conception. We also know that his human mother, his earthly mother, was married and she had a son. So theoretically, the son should have got married and he should have had kids. So she sent this to me, and I'm going back through. It took me a couple hours to go all the way back on the tree, but it all connected all the way back to the brother, which would obviously connect to. And it had all the right names, it had dates, everything. I didn't get a chance to actually proof it, to read and to make sure everything was correct. But on the glance of it, it looks good that she was able to trace back all the way back to Jesus' human brother. Now, I'll have to, before I sign my name off on that, obviously I want to do a deep dive because when she was talking to me like that, the first thing that came to mind was that movie. And I can't think of the name of the damn movie, but the movie
Last Temptations of Christ.
What?
The Last Temptations of Christ?
No, it was a movie where it was a modern day. They found out that there's a living descendant of Jesus, and they're trying to find her to protect her. And I have to ask my wife. My wife is the Hollywood freak; she knows everything. But anyway, so ancestry is simply, creating a tree, adding your DNA, finding your living relatives, your dead relatives, and so forth. Genealogy is a deep dive into that process, and that's what I also do as well. I create the tree, add in the folks, and then I add in all the information pertains to all the census, the birth certificates, the Christians, the baptisms, the obituaries. And I keep going back, and I find, so and so was in the military. I have connection to Fold 3, so I find the battles he was in, the military regiments they were in. I just now, with a new client I'm picking up, in the first 15 minutes of working with him, which I'll talk to you about in a minute, I was able to find out that if I add in like not 100 people, he's actually related to David Crockett, which I'm jealous of because, I always wanted to be David Crockett. But
you're related to Beth McCord.
Yeah, but yeah, she is. She is a relative. She is a living relative. Beth McCord is on Facebook. She has her own pages, and I can't think of the name of the one, but She's a living relative. I found out through doing her ancestry. We're connected on the Rhodes family. But the neat thing about genealogy is it's the stuff you find.
Yeah.
A lot of my clients, and I've said this before, we're all related to royalty at some point in time because the royals would send their family members to the New World because you have all this land. So they say, hey, you go to the New World, you're going to have 1 million acres of land for free. Just make sure that as you build it up, you remember me and you support me, with money and whatever.
Is Alec Baldwin related to King Baldwin too?
Well, I don't know about Alec Baldwin, and I hope not. But
or the Baldwin family, are they related to King Baldwin too?
I would have to, create the tree to connect Alec Baldwin to Baldwin II, King of Jerusalem, which is an ancestor of Gerald Michaels on American Rebellion.
Yeah.
So it takes time. I give 3 hours of attention to each client. So I'm going to, limit myself to a small group of people. But as people find the information looking for it, they leave, and I hope to bring on new people. But since I'm disabled, I don't drive. I'm not disabled as in like a handicap. I don't drive anymore. Genealogists who charge $42 an hour will actually supposed to drive to the cemetery, drive to the courthouse, drive to wherever to find the information they need for what they're charging $42 an hour for. Sometimes they don't do it. But I don't charge that because first off, almost everything you can find by driving to a point in place, you can find online. If the person is dead, everything you know about them is going to be in public domain. If the person's living, it's protected, but then there are family members who are searching the same thing, and they let out information about living people onto the social media aspect. Now all of a sudden, now that's free for someone else like myself to make use of. Yeah. So I charge $250 a month.
Okay.
That gets you 3 hours of my attention a day, and I give you access to your tree so you can see it as it grows. I find out all kinds of neat stuff. I find out sad stuff and angry stuff. And when I find that kind of stuff, I reach out to you first. Say, hey, do you want to know that your ancestor was a slave owner? Or your ancestor was a witch hunter? Or your ancestor was the first person to be killed in the New World for murdering her husband? That kind of thing.
Okay.
But I do have a page. It's called All Roads Lead to Home Genealogy. Look for the picture of the house. That's my mom's house. And that's me. Reach out to me. We talk. I gave you 15 minutes, 5 generations for free. I can find all kinds of information about you in 15 minutes.
Are you related to anybody coming across the southern border?
No, the governor has not hired me yet to do that, but I might reach out to him. Hey, I can do search for you.
I think you should. I think you should set up shop. They don't have Title 42 anymore, so they should walk up to your table and spend 15 minutes, and you can tell them whether or not they belong.
There you go. I did take notice in the news, not mentioned the Title 42, is that since it ended, the people crossing the border has dropped by 50%. And that's Newsmax. Newsmax was talking to the one of their guys in the field who flies around a helicopter filming everything. And they asked him that question, and he confirmed. He said, yes. He said, for now, the crossing of the border has diminished quite a bit. And that's because the people are actually taking time to use that damn free cell phone to do the app to get permission to cross the border. Plus, I'm sure the several thousand National Guard there with their weapons loaded are deterrent as well.
I know, but this is ridiculous. You cross over so they can hand you a free cell phone so you can find out whether or not you can enter the country. Why not just go to a regular checkpoint and get the free cell phone and find out whether or not you can belong here?
Let's take it a step further. you and I both know Jack Alexander,
I
okay?
do. Yeah.
His mom is an American citizen, if I'm correct on that.
Yeah.
And Jack,
I believe by birth, but she didn't,
right,
she is by birth, but she didn't live in
long enough in the United States, right?
to become an American citizen.
So he flies back to Australia, where his family's from, to visit, and then COVID hit, and now he's stuck there until he gets to get many thousands of dollars to fly back to the United States. I'm sorry, you know what? Instead of those illegals giving all that their money to the cartel, tell them to give them to the government, process the paperwork, and cross legally, so we can find out if you're maybe a terrorist like the guy they found in California. You hear about that one?
Which one? There's so many of them daily.
An Afghanistan terrorist was arrested in California. He just crossed the border a couple of days ago.
That's because he missed his flight coming out of Afghanistan.
He was on the FBI's most wanted list, and they caught him. So if they caught one, how many actually got across safely?
I was going to say something that I shouldn't probably say, but I'm going to say it anyway. How many people at the FBI do you think are on the FBI's most wanted list?
You know, here, Dave,
I'm going to appear on that list, you know.
So, Dave, you're more knowledgeable in this. My next question for conversation. I was watching Newsmax this morning, and I've been saying all along the 2020 election was stolen. Okay, yep. So we all know that Hunter's laptop is real, and the FBI did their damnedest to keep it out of the limelight of the 2020 election, because that would have had a huge effect on the outcome, legal outcome of the election. There is now proof, evidence that the FBI, working with the White House Democrats, purposely wrote fake letters saying there's nothing in that laptop, and there's like 11 people involved. They did their damnedest to keep it out of the limelight and affected the outcome of the election. Now, since we know that, and it's illegal, and hopefully they're going to jail or at least losing their jobs, can we not also use that to overturn the 2020 election?
Why can't we just impeach Joe Biden, president, based on the fact that Joe Biden, vice president, had in his possession illegal classified documents that it appears he got when he was a senator? The moment Joe Biden took something that was classified out of the Capitol building and didn't bring it back inside, he violated his oath of office. So why wasn't he charged and dealt with right then and there? He wouldn't have become president again. I mean, vice president. He wouldn't have made it up to president. You know, that lady at the Trump town hall kept saying, well, it wasn't him. It was people on his staff. It wasn't in Chinatown. It was at, and Trump cut her off. Yeah, the University of Pennsylvania, in an office that belongs to Joe Biden. Yeah. Oh, no, it really wasn't an office. It was just where he was storing things. You know, I'm going to go to my grave telling the Democrats, if you're going to go after the last Republican president for something that he did, make sure it wasn't something that he had permission to do, that you just didn't like that he did. And in the worst case, make sure your president didn't do it.
You know, you and I have mentioned many times on your broadcast that everything the Democrats have accused President Donald Trump of, they are actually doing it.
Right.
Okay? And he never did.
Right.
He told you he did, but you're actually doing it.
Well, okay. It's hard for me. I mean, it'd be very hard for me to have Joe Biden on a broadcast right now and look at his camera and go, Joe, you have 14,000 boxes stored, 1,400 boxes stored somewhere that go back supposedly to when you were senator and vice president. Neither one had the authority to remove anything classified from the building where their offices were located and or from the Capitol itself. So, or the White House. So how do you explain 1,400 boxes showing up? How do you explain classified documents being found in the glove box of your Corvette in a garage in Pennsylvania? That anybody could have gone into. I don't know if anybody can go into it because it looks like the videos that I saw showed it looked like the garage, the Corvette was kept in a garage at a police department and stored there. So maybe no one could get access into the Corvette to plant stuff in the Corvette. They're in the Corvette's glove box. But the point is, like I said, 1,400 boxes of stuff that, according to the senator rule book, the vice president rule book, and the president rule book, you couldn't do because you had taken that stuff before you became president. So you should have been impeached as a senator, brought up on charges. You should have been impeached as a vice president, brought up on charges. You should have been not able to run for president. Regardless of whether or not you cheated or not, you should not have been able to run for president. That's the way I see it. That's the actual and factual, the way I see it. Everybody is like, we just got to prove that Trump didn't do anything wrong. We don't have to prove that Trump didn't do anything wrong because he didn't do anything wrong. He was a president. The rule book says under the Presidential Records Act, he's allowed to declassify anything he wants and take it with him, and that's what he did. Of course, there could be times when the National Archives or whoever says, Mr. President, you took this, but we don't think this should be out in public, and you negotiate, and sometimes they get it back, and sometimes they don't. But
it makes me wonder, why some of these guys will bother to take all these boxes of documents home with them after the presidency. I know some that they use it for historical purposes, to write books, blah blah blah.
But Trump said, I think to the CNN lady, there were 14 boxes of documents that were lined up outside of the White House that evidently the GSA, the Government Services Administration, acknowledged were leaving the White House with President Trump. I don't know if they had the right to check the boxes for anything. They probably did, and they must have said, okay, yep, this stuff that is okay to go with you. So all of a sudden, if Biden wants to say, no, it wasn't, why isn't the GSA testifying? Why isn't, to me, the worst thing that will come out of this is they showed up at Mar-a-Lago, the FBI, and they said to Trump's attorneys, Trump's own Mar-a-Lago security staff, his Secret Service detail that were there, excuse me, but all you guys got to clear out while we go search. That's the number one thing that says to me, how do we know you didn't go inside and plant whatever you found there and claimed that he took with him?
Well, not only that, we know about the staged documents. They took pictures of. I mean, what idiot thinks for one moment that President Trump had those boxes and had those documents laid out on the floor?
Well, I don't care if he had them laid out on the floor or not. His office, the office of the former president, is in Suite 45 at Mar-a-Lago. It's secured properly. It has its own 24-hour security that makes sure that room is secured and that no one gets in there that doesn't need to get in there. Plus, he's got his own Secret Service detail, all of which I'm sure doesn't travel with him. So they're there to make sure that Suite 45 is secured all the time. If you even want to look at that, then we go back to, like everybody else has said, George Herbert Walker Bush kept stuff in an abandoned abandoned furniture store that evidently had no security and wasn't being monitored and checked. His son basically did the same thing. Bill Clinton evidently did the same thing, but I think Clinton's was an abandoned garage.
Yeah.
And he used his sock drawer.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
and I don't care if you have the authority to take what you took, then you have a responsibility to make sure that it is secured. But if you're a senator and you can't take and you took, you broke the rules. You violated your oath of office. You became an enemy of the United States. If you maintained and kept that stuff as a vice president, you violated your oath.
Well,
as president, you violated your oath.
Well, the FBI even went there to Mar-a-Lago to check on the status of these documents, saw where they were, made a recommendation, add additional locks to it, which he did.
Right. More than this is we haven't heard that if the FBI has ever gone to the Biden house to search what's there at the Biden house. But more importantly, evidently, the FBI has come out and said there are gaps in visitor logs at Wilmington, Delaware, at the Biden home that don't show who came to visit anyone at the house, how long they were there, and what they were there for.
Yep. It's a joke.
Obviously, there's no visitor log because they didn't want you to know who was there. Obviously, the cameras inside the house were probably turned off because they didn't want you to know who was there. There had to be a reason why Richard Nixon was taping everything that happened in the Oval Office. Whether or not it was because he was going to write a book later, I don't care. Maybe it was he couldn't remember. Maybe he had a bad memory and he couldn't remember, and he wanted to make sure he got things right. But it doesn't matter. Biden is the president of the United States on an oath that was violated because he did things as vice president, on an oath that was violated because he did things as a senator, on an oath that was violated, and the weaponized Department of Justice appears to think that that's okay. But when President Trump, according to the Presidential Records Act, did the same thing, oh, no. We're going to come to your house and we're going to take back everything that we think that you shouldn't have, probably because it incriminated Obama and Biden. Some of which I'm sure it did. But this whole thing is just getting out of hand. To me, it's like the Democrats give me the impression that they're going to hold Joe Biden in as president as long as they have the majority of the Senate. If Donald Trump is blessed with a Republican super Congress, as I call it, a Republican House and a Republican Senate, the game's over. The Department of Justice will be weaponized, I guess, as a Republican Department of Justice, and indictments and whatever will be given. But my big question in this whole Hunter Biden thing is, Hunter, you're stupid. You own a computer. You drop it off somewhere to have it repaired. On the back of the receipt, I'm sure it says, or the guy pointed to a sign and said, by the way, if you don't pick it up in so many days, it becomes mine, and I can do whatever I want with it because it becomes mine. To me, that would make sure that at midnight, on the day that it has to be picked up, last day it has to be picked up, I'm going to have somebody sitting there waiting for the doors to open and pick it up and get it out of there. That's number one. Number two, why would you have even dropped it at a shop like that in the beginning, unless maybe that shop that fixed it is a front for the FBI and they fix, it went to FBI Cyber to get work done. But even then, why why would you take it outside of the box to get it fixed if you know what's inside of it? Anthony Weiner claimed he didn't know that stuff was there the second time. This time around, I guess, is claiming that he didn't know that stuff was there. He knew what was there the first time. He got nailed for it. But, and why would Hillary Clinton have said, Uma, take this stuff and put it on your husband's laptop? It's a good place to hide it because no one's going to go looking for it. And, to me, they're just stupid. I mean, I've said to people in my house, I've said to people that worked for me, if you do things that you shouldn't be doing with the computers when I had the limo business, I used to say, if you're doing things on my computers that you don't want me to know that you did, make sure you remove them. Because if you don't, I'm going to find out that you did, because periodically your device has to go to my IT guy or gal so that they can go through it, make sure it's working properly, and that we're storing things that we need to store on the office mainframe. So don't be stupid. Either if you're going to do stupid stuff, make sure you remove it and we can't find it. Or just don't do it. Go buy your own devices and do whatever the hell you want on them. But I mean, to me, this whole thing is just stupid. Although Hillary Clinton did invent the best hardware protection system, Sledgehammer.
Sledgehammer, yeah. And then don't do it yourself. Hire some people to do it in case it backfires. They go to jail, not you.
It wasn't really, so that it wasn't so that anybody goes to jail, because it was just, if my managers found something on a company computer, it wasn't a question of saying, we're going to turn you in and you're going to go to jail. It was just, I don't want them. I don't want that stuff on company computers. It doesn't matter. I don't want stuff. I don't want that stuff, whatever it was. I don't want it on a company computer, because if it's on your company computer, odds are you're sharing it to everybody else at the company. And no, if you want that stuff on a computer, go buy yourself a computer and do whatever you want on that, and don't connect your computer to my network. It's just that simple, But
but he probably thought that his all
that laptop probably belonged to the CCP.
What?
He got a job at whatever the oil company was in China, or Russia, who got him a job at Burisma, or Ukraine, who got him a job doing something somewhere. It belonged to that company. So to me, I would just be thinking, if you're the CCP and you've got something going on with Hunter Biden, you would want to make sure that it's happening on a laptop or a device that nobody knows of publicly. And if it ever needs scheduled maintenance or whatever, it's going to one of your people, or it's being monitored, from a bigger network where someone can go, oh, Hunter's got all this stuff on here. We better it's for somebody else.
Correct me if I'm wrong, though. Isn't there a law that says that if a person is doing, for example, if I took in a flash drive to the Rite Aid store to have pictures developed, if they find porno stuff on there, dealing with children and so forth, the same with taking your electronic device.
Yes. You find things, but my question becomes, if I drop my device off at Rite Aid or CVS's Photo Lab or even Walmart's Photo Lab, and I say, I want you to go into this directory and print out all the pictures in this directory. I don't know legally if that gives you a right to go looking around at anything else, because all I'm hiring you to do is access this one directory.
Yeah, but
right. Or here on this flash drive, it only has the pictures that I want you to do. I mean, that's what some people should have been doing. I only want you to develop these. And when you get them back, if they were pictures that you shouldn't see of humans that you shouldn't see or no one should see, then yeah, you should have it reported. I worked at a photomat, drive-through photo booths for a long time, and there was, when I got there, one of the girls that worked there said, you want to look at these pictures every time this man or lady drops off a roll of film. And, it was adult stuff, and I really didn't want to look at it, and I didn't, but, they that was okay. But if someone was dropping off a roll of film and it was child porn, yeah, we would have reported it.
Yeah. That might be why the Democrats are so damn hell bent to lower the age for what they consider consensual sex with the younger generation.
I just think it's because the majority of some of the illegals or even legals that are coming in from other cultures where it's okay, and in order to accommodate them here, they think that we have to lower the age. But my response is that if child porn and child sex is illegal in Iran, then why shouldn't it be illegal in the United States?
Exactly. So the Democrats are trying to say, well, look, you Saudi Arabia, the Middle Eastern countries, they marry off their daughters when they're 5, 6, 8, 9 years old. Because you see the videos of the girls being dragged into the West.
I've said that.
But at the same time, those same countries are dead set against gays and so forth.
I think when you look at that, you have to go back thousands of years, and that 8 or 9 years old was middle age back then, and 30 was probably getting ready to die and pass on.
Well, that's a fact. I've seen that with my genealogy.
Right. So that okay. But thousands of years later, when people learn that this thing that we live in, this vessel, the DNA in it has a shelf life of 120 years. It doesn't mean that you're going to live to be 120 years old. It just means that this skin, this body that we're in, the DNA has a shelf life of 120 years old. So things that were
yeah, you're digging there, dude.
No. I saw a video, and it was
the digging sound. Someone texting you.
I know, but it was well, people text me, and I don't you can't turn the volume down on that.
Okay.
Actually, you can, and I didn't, so I apologize. But my messenger goes off around the clock, and the only time I actually turn it off is when I'm trying to sleep, because the dings are goes up, because more people send me stuff on Messenger to get posted in our groups than just go into our groups and post the stuff themselves. And sometimes I appreciate it. But one of the things, like I said, was this video that said, both sides seem to agree. Doctors on both sides seem to agree that the lifespan of DNA is 120 years. So now it should be what was okay thousands of years ago at age 9, because DNA, it was believed that your body is only going to last 30 years, should not be happening. But then again, some of the stuff is is religious, and but when you're abusing a policy that like I said was because age related, that's how getting married at 9 years old is different than getting raped by 67 guys on your way into the United States of America.
Yeah. Slightly different. Yeah.
That's slightly different.
I'll give you that.
We should do everything we can to help that child, but at the same time, we need to find out where she came from, see if we can contact mom and dad or whoever was raising her in that country and find out, was she kidnapped and brought here? Was she just brought here? Did she just disappear one day and come here? And then, we're obligated to at least do that, or we're obligated to contact the closest living relative we can find and say,
but
would you like to come here and be the guardian of your child here, because terrible things happened over on her way here? Or if there's no family, we know pretty much, or think we know pretty much what's going to happen. What's going to happen is probably the same thing that happened on the way here. We need to find the 67 males, and again, it has to be investigated, because here in the United States, not an 8-year-old has the right to give consent, but we need to find out. We need to have those 67 men, if they came with her, have their opportunity to prove that they're guilty. And obviously their DNA would prove that they were guilty. And those 67 men shouldn't be here then.
They should be castrated.
Well, no. To me, no. To me, it's you get escorted back to where you came from by whatever agents escort you on a plane back to where you're going, and they walk up the ramp they walk through the gate and turn you over to somebody in that country, and you hope that it's going to be done. Because what's going to happen is there's going to be 67 more men that are going to do the same thing on the next group of people coming in, and before long our prisons are going to be full of people that shouldn't be here. I mean, that to me, eliminating Title 42 and enforcing capture and release is stupid. Because capture and release is what's going on. You're going to get captured at the southern border crossing, and you're going to come in, you're going to be released into Texas, and Texas doesn't think that they're responsible for supporting you here in the States, so they're going to send you someplace else. Bottom line is, no. Title 42 needs to be put back in place, and people need to be, find a word nicer than detained, and there needs to be some facilities at the border to house people, whether it's dormitory style, and then as as they're doing the background check and you're doing the genealogy, and you find out that, the person is entitled to be here in America, the family is entitled to be here in America. Hopefully the next step is you talk to dad and he says, yes, I have a brother. Here's my cell phone. I have a brother in Florida. Can you contact him and see if he will sponsor me for being here? Or, we're supposed to talk to this father at this church or this temple, this rabbi at this temple. Contact them and make sure they're willing to come down and pick you up and and that they're going to do it, and that they understand that while you're here, you're on the pathway to citizenship, and if you break the law, your sponsor could be booted out of here with you. You know, the whole thing is just out of control. It was like listening to a video of Senator John Kennedy, and I laugh every time I see that because I'm thinking, John Kennedy, the president, was a senator, and now it's just like it makes my brain go crazy that we have a Republican senator named John Kennedy, but John Kennedy talking to the administrator of I don't remember the branch of government, but he kept saying to the lady, "Isn't it true that if we took the military, the United States military and law enforcement, and went to Mexico and teamed up with Mexican law enforcement and the military, we could stop the importing of fentanyl into this country?" And she kind of like, blah, 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 blah. And he asked her like 4 or 5 times. Then he finally just, I think, said, "You're telling me that we could, and I don't understand why we're not," because his time was up. And then I think he said, we have something like a $240-something trillion a year budget, and Mexico has something like a $1.2 trillion budget. Ours is like 4 times or 20-something size of theirs. Why couldn't we go help them with the money that we could spend here to stop it, and just stop it? And she just wouldn't give him an answer. So anyway, morning, Danny Campbell. Danny has watched more Boogie with the Bull broadcast than anybody else in the history of Boogie with the Bull, and it is always a pleasure to have you watching.
Yeah, it boils down as I've said it before, and I believe you agree, and I've said it yourself, that there's the Democrat Socialist Communist Party is dead set to destroy our nation, and they don't care about the American citizen. I mean, but and I've said this before, look at all the Western nations right now doing the exact same thing. Okay, they're letting in all these illegals into their country, and they're saying, "Screw you" to the citizens who are the birthright of that nation. We can see.
I think as soon as Ukraine is done, and God forbid it's Russia winning it, but as soon as it's done, and Zelensky is being either in the process of being removed as president or whatever, I think the first thing he should have to say is there any money left that the United States gave? No, I'm sure a good amount of it was put away. I'm sure a good amount of it was sent out of the country somewhere.
Oh, I'm sure.
Somewhere. But he should have to say, yeah, you gave us, I don't know, $300 trillion. And I moved 50 trillion of it out of the country just in case I ever have to leave. And we actually spent 200 trillion rebuilding the country. Okay, well, that's fine. Keep that 200 trillion because you and Russia have to rebuild, or you have to rebuild Ukraine and use that. But the 50 trillion that you stored somewhere for you when this is all over and you leave, no, that comes back. And from now on, all of the money that we gave you that is accounted, that you've already spent, we need a full accounting on that, and any money you may get from us in the future that was used, and that any money that you use that shouldn't have been used in the best interest of the people of Ukraine, we're going to fine you by deducting that from what you get. And then I hope the Biden administration learns. You can't print money that's worthless and then borrow it from whoever and pay inflated interest rates on it and give it away. I mean, I wouldn't have any problem raising the debt ceiling if we had to raise the debt ceiling so that we are making proper payments on our debt, but at the same time covering the expenses of operating the United States of America for American citizens. Because we're never, if you listen to members of Congress, we're never going to get away from how screwed up our economy is. But then again, you listen to Donald Trump and he says, drill, baby, drill, and we will. Well, maybe we will, but drill, baby, drill. And all of that gas means the price of gas is going to go up so that there's taxes coming in to cover that. But I want to take him at his word. He says that he could get us back to where we were when he was not elected in 2020. And it will not take a long period of time. And as I've said before, I think it would be he'll come in here. It could take a year or two. He'll flip us back to where we were. We'll be going the way we were. We'll be an oil-based economy. We may hopefully be, if not the largest exporter of oil, certainly within the top and selling a good amount of what the world needs. Maybe we'll, to me, if Russia wants to be the provider to Eastern Europe of oil, gas, and whatever, Trump should have said, well, you know what? Great. We built this thing called the Keystone XL pipeline. Unfortunately, Biden stopped it just about when it was ready to open and start operating. Why don't we work together with you and this pipeline that you want to build to help Eastern Europe, but at least make sure that you build it so that it protects Eastern Europe, so that when the president of the United States decides to blow it up, or some terrorist organization decides to go in and blow it up, you're not going to be faced with another Chernobyl. I mean, we can't sell American oil to everybody, and the good thing about that is that what we don't sell, if we're drill baby drilling, what we don't sell just means that there's more for us to use for ourselves.
Well, see, and that's the other thing too, is that the Biden administration took the oil out of our emergency reserves to lower the price of the gas, but what he did was he took it away from the damn military. Right. That oil is supposed to be used in case we had to go to war to put fuel into our vehicles.
I guess somewhere within the strategic oil reserves is something that says he can sell it to other countries, but it's only in the case that those countries are facing an oil shortage or would have an oil shortage related to being able to protect their countries and keep running their countries, which is not what he did. We all know that. But, I don't see how Joe Biden could do a debate with Donald Trump and not be the only one who talks, because every question they ask Biden, even if he snapped out of it long enough to do a presidential debate, there wouldn't be enough time for Trump to speak at all, because Biden just, if he spoke, I killed the Keystone pipeline. I basically derailed all of American crude oil from being used in America, and we're buying it outside of the country for a lot more money.
From those who are,
right.
And that's the other thing is, the nations that Trump had pacts with and so forth, they're saying, screw you, we're not going to sell you our oil, or if we do, you'll be paying through the teeth
Well,
for it.
the way they came back at Biden was they kept saying, now that you're buying it from outside of the United States, what, you need 500,000 barrels a day? We're going to cut production 500,000 barrels a day. Now you won't be able to get it from us. Now we're going to sign a pact with China, and we're still not going to make we're going to sell them the 500,000 barrels that we were going to sell to you. I mean, I just think that Biden and the Biden regime, they don't understand the gift that God or someone gave the United States of America. They put us on this piece of land with 500 years of oil available. So we should not have run out of oil from 1776. We should not have run out of oil until somewhere in 2200. And even if we did, well, the way we understand God set it up was you have 500 years of oil underground. While you're using it, whatever you use of that 500 years of oil is refilling itself. So in other words, you're never going to run out. You're never going to run out. So there was not any reason to ever stop drilling. There never was any reason to stop drilling and stop storing.
Well, no, I mean, the only reason why they stopped drilling was because the idiots say we're hurting the atmosphere, we're hurting the water, we're hurting the soil.
So you cut it, right. But we would have gotten to the point, if you're drilling, say you own a piece of land, and you're drilling and you're pulling out 10,000 barrels a day. So in the course of a month, you're pulling out 300,000 barrels of oil. If you're not using that 300,000 barrels a month, of course, I can understand the government says, no, you've got you're only using 15,000 barrels a month, or 150,000 barrels a month. So now you're going to help us maintain the strategic oil reserve. Now you're going to, now you don't need to drill as much as often, or drill 150,000 barrels of oil more and put it on the open market and sell it. I mean, it just, you don't just say the number one resource that we have and the world needs, you don't just say, hey, we're drilling too much. The government and oil leases are stupid in the sense that oil companies go to these auctions and they buy land that is oil rich, they buy a lease on a piece of land that is oil rich, and we should be setting it up and drilling on it right away. And they say, now we're going to wait. And maybe it's 20 years before they start drilling on it. Well, I don't know. Maybe you shouldn't be allowed to buy oil leases at the next oil lease auction if you own a number of leases that you're not drilling on. And maybe if it's been so long that you haven't drilled on it, maybe you have to forfeit the lease and let somebody else buy it. I mean, my belief is that if there's 500 years of oil underground on your lease, then you can't just sit on your lease for 500 years and not drill on it.
The problem is that the Democrats, socialists in the White House want everything to be electric. Where do they think the power is coming from to fuel the electric cars, the trains, the airplanes?
From the oil that they hope that they're not selling.
Yeah, but yes, and like you said before, our infrastructure is not built to withstand the strain.
There were reports early on that the oil companies were starting to buy electric companies because they knew that the electric cars were going to require electricity, homes were going to require electricity, and their oil was going to be used to to make electricity. So I mean that, to me, this whole thing is just stupid. It's like Jerry has said and others have said, there's not enough research into electric vehicles yet to make them totally safe to where you don't have to worry about your Tesla vehicle just spontaneously combusting. But by the same token, the fossil fuel cars have not gotten to a point where the possibility of that car spontaneously combusting is not as great as an electric vehicle, but it's still there.
But it's safer because from what I'm watching TV, so the information I'm about to give you is from Hollywood, but it appears that if a fire department responds to a car accident or a truck accident, and it turns out that the car is all battery, they have to use a certain chemical on it to put the fire out as opposed to water.
Right. I think it's some kind of foam. But the problem with it is if that car is, say, burnt out, totaled, most tow companies won't come and pick it up because they have to bring it back to their tow yard before they can find a junkyard that's
going to take it
to. And the problem is that you can bring them a burnt out car that it was burnt to a crisp, but 24 hours later you walk out into your tow yard and it's exploded again.
It's not just that; it's the fact that those cars required the chemical to build the battery that we're paying China for.
Mm-hmm. But in a perfect world, which we're not in, the United States government would have worked a deal where we get that chemical from China for an equal amount of selling in China what we can, what people in China want, and that never happened.
Have you seen the video when you see them advertised on TV about how about the lithium and how it's mined, and they're showing kids in their mining with their bare hands and so forth. If that's real, proof, I mean, we want to talk about the safety of the children and respect.
Well, the children shouldn't be doing it unless the children shouldn't be doing it, or you protect your children so that it doesn't kill them.
I have to imagine that the survival rate, digging that shit out by your hands and being, wearing shorts and your skin's exposed is pretty limited.
Oh, I'm sure it is. But you should be outfitting your children with the highest level of protection and not exposing any of their skin. But then again, you don't do it with children.
Yeah, exactly.
Kids should be children because you don't want to pay Elon Musk's boring company to come down and bore a hole, and then you don't want to figure out a way to get it out of the ground without hurting anybody. And then my biggest question is, what do you plan to do? Because if you look at an area where they mine lithium, they basically bore holes down as far as they can and carry it up. And when it's done, it's kind of like strip mining. No one wanted to do strip mining in this country because it basically ruins an area and you can't use it again. So they outlawed it. So it's got to be in these countries. What are you doing? What are you doing to return that area of your country to somewhat usable. I mean, if you can't use it again and you can't have people living on it, and it goes all the way down to the center of the earth, then why aren't you figuring out a way to store ash that you can't use anywhere and you have to bury it down for 100 years? Why aren't you figuring out a way?
It boils down to this: the Democrat Socialist Communist Party is so damn concerned about what we here in the United States do as far as the treatment of the planet. They don't give a shit about the rest of the countries. They're going to destroy it all they want.
Well, they're destroying it because they're not paying for it. They're not paying. It's like climate control in China and all this other environmental control stuff in China is a joke, because if you read the international treaties, it's like everybody agreed that China has 5 years or 10 years or 15 years before they have to start paying into it. And when you look at it, they're the area of the planet that ruined the planet the most.
Yeah.
It's like an undersecretary, or actually the secretary of the Department of Energy, I don't know what position he holds, was talking to Senator John Kennedy. Again, they want $50 trillion to work on climate control. And he kept asking this guy, how much better will we have control of the climate with?
What he's asking was, how much lower will the temperature of the planet be if we spend 50 trillion? And they couldn't answer the damn question.
Couldn't answer it, because the answer that he was giving was, we contribute the most to the climate, the situation that it is. That's 13%. So again, he wasn't giving Senator Kennedy an answer, because Senator Kennedy kept saying, okay, if we give you $50 trillion and we contribute 13% of all carbon footprint here in the United States, what's going to happen? You would expect that secretary to look at him and go, we may bring it down to 10%. We might actually get it down to 5%. We might actually get it down to, Senator Globin would be looking at him and going, you might get it down to 0, because right now you can tell us that we contribute 13% to the world's global climate footprint, and that screws up the atmosphere 13%. But he's not. Then, like I said, nobody else is talking into it. Plus, the real answer is, like Senator Kennedy got the guy to admit to, is you just want $50 trillion to spend.
Yep.
Because you can't tell us how much. And I was waiting for Senator Kennedy to look at him and go, you can't tell us how much, because you know as well as I do this whole thing is bullshit. You just want $50 million to spend, and this is how you're going to say that you're going to spend it, because we all know that pretty much the rules of the game are people come to Congress all the time and ask for money to do a specific thing, and they get given that money. Then they use that money to do something else that they know they weren't going to get money for, because you don't give the money back, and Congress can't ask for the money back if you didn't use it the way American citizens want you to use it. So to me, I like I said, I kept waiting for Senator Kennedy to look at the guy and go, we're not going to give you $50 trillion, because $50 trillion is a lot more than the total budget of the United States government right now. And we're not going to give you $50 trillion because you can't tell us what it's going to accomplish, because it's not going to accomplish anything.
Well, the report on Newsmax was that Biden is threatening to use the 14th Amendment. I think it's like the Fifth Amendment, or the 14th Amendment. There's a paragraph in there that gives him the authority to do whatever hell he wants with the budget to make sure that we pay our bills. They don't care where the money's coming
from. Well, there's a budget. There's a debt ceiling, but I believe it has to be approved by Congress because, again, it has to be approved by the House and backed up by the Senate because the House spends the money. Joe Biden can't. I don't believe Joe Biden can write an executive order that says we're going to spend $50 trillion on climate control because he doesn't have the authority to write a check for $50 million. He has to go to the House and say, I want $50 trillion, and the House has to approve it. Otherwise, he could just write checks anytime he wanted for anything that he wanted and bankrupt the country, which he's pretty much done following the procedures on how it's supposed to be done anyway.
Well, the country's already bankrupt, okay?
Right.
You know, waiting for, and I have to think about it when I sleep. Wouldn't it be a hell of a thing? And we're so far in debt, we're never going to pay off the actual loans to all these countries and where we're getting the money from. Wouldn't it be interesting to see, these countries? You know what? We waited long enough for our payment. We want the collateral that you guys put up, to go against.
It would be better. I'm sorry I cut you off. It would be better to go back to President Trump being in the White House and hoping that President Trump would say when they come in and we want $30 trillion for Ukraine. It would be better for President Trump to go, you want $30 trillion for Ukraine again. We gave Ukraine $25 trillion last time. What did they do with it? Or you want $50 trillion to Ukraine because we owe Ukraine $50 trillion. Well, look it up. And he said, but then he says Ukraine owes us $25 trillion. So we're not going to give Ukraine $50 trillion so they can pay us back the $25 trillion and then keep $25 trillion for the next thing. No, you used to hear them all the time saying this country owes us money that we never got from them. China owes us trillions in tariffs that we never got from them. So before another dime goes to China, they got to start paying down the money that they owe us. Or we're gonna do the same thing they did. We're gonna raise it so that they owe us $10 trillion in tariffs, and then say, screw it, your stuff doesn't come in here anymore. I know that's hard to do because supposedly China owns most of the ports in the United States anyway.
I mean, China owns if you actually sat down and figured out the amount of acres of land, I would say that Russia and China probably owns like half of our country anyways.
Yeah. I don't know about Russia. I know China owns a lot. But then again, supposedly, I don't know if there are laws on the books that say a foreign government can only own so much or a foreign government can't own anything. Because we would have a problem if we all of a sudden said that another country cannot own land in the United States because Rockefeller Center, the home of the National Broadcasting Company, is, I believe, owned by Japan. The land is owned by Japan. And I guess, but then again, like you said, China owns all this farmland. China and Bill Gates own all this farmland. It needs to be. You bought all these farms. What are you going to do with them? Are you holding it so that when you own the United States of America, they're going to become your They're going to become your fifth. I was going to say concentration camps, but
you're probably right about that.
Well, the politically correct statement is they're going to become Chinese 15-minute cities.
Yeah.
But we can't. We will never balance our budget. Not because we owe so much money to everybody else. It's because everybody else who owes us money didn't pay it. China, I've said, I did read an article briefly, and I don't remember where it was, but I believe China is negotiating with Ukraine to build a base in Ukraine where NATO is.
Yep. Yep.
We should have, if China, I don't know if China is a member of NATO or not, but it should have been, if China is a member of NATO and China hasn't paid everything that they owe NATO, we should have been able to say, Ukraine, you can't sell China a base because we've negotiated a NATO base with you that's been here forever, and China, who's a member of NATO, owes NATO $50 trillion. So before you allow them to build a base in this country, they need to cough up their $50 trillion in NATO dues or whatever. You know, we pulled out of the United States because, I mean, it's not the United States. Well, we did, but we pulled out of the United Nations because China and Russia and all these other countries that have been terrible to us are now, now having the most votes on the Security Council and all the other councils, and it really wasn't working. So, we pulled out of climate control. We pulled out of climate control because China was told you have, like I said, 5, 10, 15, 20 years before you have to do anything. Yeah, they're the largest.
Yeah, polluter.
That guy from the Energy Department should have looked at Senator Kennedy and said, we need $50 trillion because China, who contributes 87% of the carbon footprint, needs help bringing it down to 43.5%. But China, it doesn't matter. Or when China, we went and we passed this thing around the world, China should have had been told, you have the money, you need to kick in your piece now.
Well, he did. That's what Trump was doing.
The rest of the world is going to sanction you, and you're not going to, you can't pollute the world if you're not going to help. If you're not going to help, treat it. But anyway, let me look at a clock very quickly.
Yeah, I got to jump off here.
Do you need to take off?
Yeah, I need to do some stuff here.
Okay.
But, and that's what Trump was doing. Trump was in the process of getting all those countries to pay their damn debt to us. And unfortunately, he wasn't expecting the left to use Dominion software to steal the 2020 election.
No.
So
some of the servers were sitting in China or other
Germany.
places. Germany.
I don't know. And I really don't have high hopes for any Republican in the 2024 election. I mean, and I hope I'm wrong, but I just don't see it.
I think I can see Trump because maybe in the leftist socialist Democrat Party, maybe there are people that agree that something has to be done, and maybe they've had enough of Biden and they want to go back and give Trump another chance. But what fears me is that he's going to end up with a Democrat super Congress, and all they're going to do is keep him as a fish on the line in impeachments for 4 years, because I don't think if they got an impeachment and the Senate agreed and he had to step down, I don't think they would do that, because there would still be whoever his vice president is becomes president, and they would treat him or her as bad as they treat Trump, and they just do whatever they want because they don't need him. If he doesn't sign what they want, they'll just veto it and do whatever they want anyway. And that would be worse than if it wouldn't change because, like I said, the vice president would become president, so it wouldn't change. They just keep doing it. And it's his last term. He can't run again. So they might as well just bury him in the Oval Office, let him go off and do what a president does. But, they just do whatever they want, kind of like they did in in 2016 to 2020.
Yeah. I just think that the left is going to keep trying to do whatever they can to prevent Trump from running. I just saw on the news feed here before we came online that they found a 15-year-old girl who was raped by Trump back in the day. Come on.
I just, they're getting just so, think about it. Just think about it. Do you honestly believe that it happened? And if you honestly believe that it happened, why wasn't something done when it happened? The way Trump tells the story with this lady in New Jersey or wherever it was, that he followed her into a store.
Yeah.
He never met her before, didn't know her, supposedly knew of her husband, and they got to talking, and all of a sudden she started into a dressing room, and I guess he followed her in, which was probably his biggest mistake. And I don't know how long they were in there together, but
But he claims that he knows who she is.
Right.
And the fact that her witnesses couldn't even testify that they knew for a fact that I mean, they got him on nothing other than the fact that him
said it happened, and that he took her to court and sued her, but evidently the allegation was dismissed. But he was nailed on defamation because he said it didn't happen, and $5 million. Well, it's probably going to cost that lady $10 million to try to get $5 million out of him in fees. And if he wins and he doesn't owe her $5 million, he's going to sue her for $10 million
or more.
And the nice thing about it is he can keep it in litigation forever.
Yeah.
Even if he just drops it in 5 or 10 years. To me, it's just people need to stop going after him because he's Trump and he's a billionaire and they see a meal ticket. Same thing with Brett Kavanaugh, Justice Kavanaugh. Ultimately, his thing was proven false, that it actually never happened. But the point of Senate confirmation hearings should not be for one party to trash the other party. It should be for both parties to work together to find the best people to join the governoid and do what is best for the American people. And that opens a whole can of worms that I know you don't have time for. Should there be term limits on the Supreme Court? Should the citizens of the United States elect the Supreme Court? I personally think political parties should be removed from the Supreme Court. It shouldn't be that I'm President Globin and I'm an ultra MAGA conservative and I get to appoint a judge and I'm going to only look at an ultra MAGA judge because I've always wanted to ask Trump or ask Joe Biden if the best person for a bench opening isn't a Republican, but it's a Democrat who's proven themselves to be fair over the time that they've been on the bench. Why isn't that the one who gets the job? But
there's no way that Congress or the Senate is going to enforce a term restriction on themselves because they want to be.
Actually, it says it doesn't go into effect until their next term. So if they passed anyone who's served 40 years, however that breaks down in terms, anyone who served 30 years, it goes into effect in the next, you still get one more term. That's your last term. You can't run. You can't run if that's where it is. But then the question becomes, if Congress isn't going to listen to the people of the United States who say we want term limits and pass a term limit that doesn't go into effect until the end of the next term they're elected to or not elected to, then, I mean, if you're not elected at the end of, today, the 118th Congress says 40 years. You get to run for re-election. If you're not elected, then you're not elected. But if you're elected, that term is your last term. That's how it goes. It's like when Obama was joking around about a third term. Well, he says he was joking around about running for a third term. He checked the rules. And it's the same thing for him. If he were to get approved to run a third term, he would have had to sit out what would have been 2016 to 2020 and then be able to run in 2020.
That's what I've got to run.
Hey, Wednesday, 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock.
Hang on. Yeah, 5 o'clock's fine.
Yep. And then Friday, 5 to 6:30 or whatever time we use of those two, and Saturday at 10 a.m. to 12 noon possibly. But those are the three that we have right now. So Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday.
Yep. Okay.
All right.
When that pops up, I'll leave you know.
All right. Take care. Get ready. Pull your parachute. Randy Rhodes. I have so much fun doing that because people a long time ago used to think that I was kicking someone off a broadcast. And back then I probably was. But when it's time for someone to leave a broadcast, I just like making it look like, pull your parachute and get ready to go. It's a lot of fun, and I don't mean it ruefully on anyone. Danny Campbell seems to be the only one who watched this Boogie with the Bull broadcast coming up on an hour and a half. We were live on Facebook, on my profile, and in the Boogie with the Bull Uncensored public group. And we were live on the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel. So if you see it on my profile, you can take it and share it anywhere on Facebook. If you see it in the Boogie with the Bull True page, Boogie with the Bull Uncensored public group, you can take it and share it anywhere on Facebook. You can take it from Facebook and share it anywhere you want off of Facebook. I prefer you go to the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel and you subscribe, which is free, and then you take it from there and share it anywhere that you want, only because it doesn't bring people back to Facebook after they're done watching it. I am doing my best when I remember to take a Boogie with the Bull Uncensored live broadcast and link it from the YouTube channel over to Street Lock and American Patriot Social Network. I did not do that this morning. I will immediately post it there. We're going to get it posted in some of the MeWe groups. And we have Boogie with the Bull group on Gab. I was talking to someone on a post yesterday. We really need to dig in and help build the Gab group. We set it up there, I want to say 2 or 3, might even be 4, but at least 2 or 3 years ago. We had an admin who was going to run it, and we would have helped build it, and that didn't happen. So we will start getting things posted over there on Gab. We are always looking for different broadcasts here at Boogie with the Bull Uncensored, anything that might spark interest. And if you have an idea for one, talk to us. As I said to Randy a moment ago, the broadcast times that we have right now are Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern to 6 p.m., Friday, 5 p.m. to 6:30 p.m., Saturday, 10 a.m. to 12 noon Eastern. And it doesn't always have to be that time, but when there's an hour, there's an hour. When there's an hour and a half, there's an hour and a half. But if it ends in 2 minutes and 30 seconds, hey, At least we tried to do our best. But sometimes I get asked to consider doing a broadcast that may not be received well on the network destinations that we have. And I apologize if I ever question anyone uh, on that. All of our live chat destinations right now, my Facebook profile, Boogie with the Bull Uncensored public group, and the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel, they all have live chats. And people are encouraged, regardless of which one of the three they are watching on, to be a part of the broadcast. Sometimes they're invited to come on to the broadcast if they want. But if it's a broadcast where it will only be you, me, and maybe another person associated with the broadcast, that's fine. But the live chats are a part of the broadcast, and that's what they are. If you don't want a live chat as part of the broadcast, then a third option is to record a podcast and then post that. But I don't really have any interest in doing that. You can use Facebook Live Producer if you want, and you can do that. I mean, there may come a time when the only way to get a broadcast put together and on is to record it. If like I'm on location somewhere or someone is on location and can record it, but generally I want faces on camera, talking to people on camera, talking to people in the live chats that are watching, and I want the live chats to be a part of the program. And in the case of some things that are very technical, and you're going to be using technical words and ideas, understand this isn't technical and big words anymore. And when you drop a technical or big word or a philosophy, I'm going to probably cut you off and ask you to explain it as simply as you can, and people watching are going to ask you to explain it as simply as they can. Because as I wanted to say to someone last night, Boogie with the Bull is not a college lecture hall where the professor or professorette gets you all seated and then reads an hour and a half of speech and you fall asleep because you can't talk or you're so busy writing notes or making sure your digital recorder gets everything recorded so you can go home and make notes. No. The whole idea of this is to bring people together to talk about anything in the world. It doesn't have to be a conservative patriot broadcast. It doesn't have to be a conservative broadcast, a patriot broadcast, leftist, Democrat, socialist, if that is what you want to call yourselves or be referred to. You're as welcome as any conservative, patriot, ultra MAGA person is on a broadcast. But hey, if you enjoy music and you're a musician and you got really good music that people want to hear, even if you have really bad music that you want people to hear, the door is open. That's why the name changed from Boogie with the Bull True Patriot Talk to Boogie with the Bull Uncensored, because I want to let you know about everything. I want to expose the best of social media to you. That's what I'm here to do. But sometimes things just go too close to the edge that I just have to say, where am I going to post it? And post it on my profile, and then the 30 people that are watching maybe might have a question or have a comment. And if I have to worry about the questions or the comments being insulting to a guest, then the guest has to worry about whether or not Boogie with the Bull is the right idea. An update: Rumble will be added in June. The money is there to do it, but Rumble will be added in June because from Sunday, May 23rd until Monday, May 28th, I will be away, or we will be away. And I do not know if there will be any Boogie with the Bull broadcasts while I am away, which means that you'll always know that there will be one or two, because right now I have to just go away and unwind and do what I do every once in a while. But I don't know for sure that there will be any broadcasts while we're away, or maybe there will be. I've done one before from Foxwoods, sitting at a table outside of the casino that used to be in front of the World Poker Room, and security didn't bother me. They let me do it. I think some people even dropped by and asked what I was doing, and a lot of fun. So you never know. Maybe that will happen, but it is what it is. I'm watching and seeing that even when we only share it to a limited number of groups, we're averaging somewhere between the high 20s and 30s on a broadcast, which is fine with me. I don't care if you're one of those big shots here on Facebook that gets 30,000 or 300,000 broadcasts, or even 900,000 people watching your broadcast. Congratulations. Congratulations. I just come on and do what I do and try to send it to where I think people on Facebook want to watch it and hopefully might want to share it. And that's what it is. Hey, we have private groups on Facebook: American Regulators, Conservative Freedom Defenders, Red Patriots for America. That's our Red MAGA ultra crazy group, as Joe Biden would call it. And the Hardcore Conservatives group, which is one of the oldest of the 4 private groups that we have. It's been around Facebook in different capacities for probably most of the 15 years that I've been here on Facebook. Conservative Freedom Defenders, which Art Sessa started and brought me in to help as a working admin, has just over 200 members, and we've never really worried about it. It's an active group, and people seem to like it, but grows to 1,000 like the other 3, great. If not, hey, I'm happy. The admins and moderators are happy, and members of the group seem to be happy. But it's Conservative Freedom Defenders. I tell everybody it is a conservative patriot group based on Christian values, and you don't have to be a Christian to be a member of it. I'm Jewish, so it's not a religious-based group, but it has good, hardcore, conservative values. So take a look at it. It is a private group, so you have to either be invited or you have to go to the Conservative Freedom Defenders group and request to join. Everybody pretty much gets approved, even trolls. But if you're a troll and you go in there and you become a troll, you'll probably get escorted out the door very quickly. But let's see. We have American Regulators, Conservative Freedom Defenders. American Regulators has been around for a long time, too. We worked with Jim Bowles. He set that up, and through generations of admins, we adopted it and are keeping it going. And the name is very similar to what it does. People that want to regain their control of America and keep it on the course that we wanted it to be on. And that's pretty much the similar approach from Conservative Freedom Defenders. We also have, like I said, Red Patriots for America. That's our Ultra MAGA group, or MAGA group, or just our Red group, as I tell people. And then the Hardcore Conservatives group, that goes back to when Eric Ardelene and I had the ETECP Hardcore Conservatives group, and then when that group went off in a different direction, the Hardcore Conservatives group was born. So like I said, it's been around here for about 1 million years. And it all of a sudden shot up. It went from 445 members to 1,000 members. And it seemed to have held strong at 1,000 members. So again, American Regulators, Conservative Freedom Defenders, Red Patriots for America, the Hardcore Conservatives group. They are all private groups, so ask friends that are in there to invite you and or go to those groups and request membership. We also have, like I said, Boogie with the Bull Uncensored is our public group. Anything and everything can be in it. I suggest that you share into it from other groups that you can share from, and people will take out of there and share it accordingly. We also have the New United Media Group. There are two. There's the United Media Group, and there is the New United Media Group. I don't know what happened, but we're now the New United Media Group. That's another group that you can join. It's public. You can post your broadcast or broadcasts on Facebook that you see that you think people want to watch. And you can also post in there things that you think people want to read and take part in discussions on those posts. And you can share everything from the New United Media Group as well as Boogie with the Bull Uncensored public group. Alternatives, conservative alternatives to Facebook, Streetlock, STREETLOC.com, streetlock.com. If you go over there and you take a look at it, you'll probably come back and tell me it looks like a little less anal is the word. And I used to say that when Jack Dorsey was still running Twitter, because Twitter always looked anal to me. But it looks similar to Twitter, although you don't have to tweet. There's a news feed, and you just go in there and post. There are groups over there. But go over and take a look. STREETLOC.com. The Boogie with the Bull Uncensored group is there. Our broadcasts, like I said, land over there. It's open for people to take things from Facebook and share them there. You can take things from Streetlock and share it all over Facebook, and it looks great when you do that. Occasionally you will see my link that if you join Streetlock and you go through my link to get in there, they look upon that favorably. And hopefully as the negotiations complete and the next round of updates happen to Streetlock and they launch Streetlock Live, which is their version of YouTube channels on steroids, we will have the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel over there as the Streetlock Live channel, Boogie with the Bull Streetlock Live. Anyway, I'm Dave Blue, and you're not. Thank you for the privilege of letting me abuse your time, about an hour and 40 minutes. So kind of right on schedule. Today, Monday, 10 a.m. was an impromptu. I found out yesterday that I had it, but it's kind of hard to guarantee that the 10 a.m.s will happen during the summer months because Donna is on vacation from her subbing job, and use of the studio is not always as available as it was while she is subbing. So I understand that and respect that. Today is Monday, so 7 p.m. Eastern, downstairs on the American Rebellion blogger page. The American Rebellion, Jerry Michaels, Nikki Young, Robert Lawless, the Minnesota Badman, who is back from his concert tour in Las Vegas. And it looked really well. We got to see some of it on video Saturday night. So he will be back, and a lot of people in the live chat have just as much fun in the live chat and get shared on the broadcast throughout. Be there. It's a lot of fun. And if you want to be on the broadcast, a lot of times Jerry will throw the link up, and you're more than welcome to join the broadcast. Just behave. Don't be crazy or do anything stupid. And everybody just has a good time. They talk about everything. It starts out sometimes political, and then it moves through what's going on in everybody's lives. And then it's just a good old time, like sitting out on your back porch with a bunch of friends, smoking a cigar, maybe drinking a beer or whatever evening beverage you feel like having, and just talking about what's going on in America and maybe what we can do to fix it. The American Rebellion, downstairs on the American Rebellion blogger page, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern to 9 p.m. Eastern, so adjust your time accordingly here on Facebook. If you are a friend of Callan McMillan, Callan will send you the link to the broadcast, to watch the broadcast every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and Saturday, before just about 7 p.m. when they go live. You can ask him to do it. I forget all the time, so I have to have him remind me. But like I said, the American Rebellion, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern tonight on Facebook. Be there. Other broadcasts you should watch. Randy Rhoads is starting to do all kinds of broadcasts, genealogy, some history, some political commentary. Go to the Randy Rhoads Facebook page with the classic car profile picture. You can also go to the All Roads Lead to Home genealogy group, which has a picture, as he said, of his mother's home on it. And tune in and turn on and catch whatever Randy is doing. And other than that, William Rayfield, the Patriots Lab Uncensored, whenever they're on. I'm currently blocked, so I can't see it. But a good broadcast. When you have an opportunity to watch it, you should. Michael Anthony, same thing, 10 o'clock talks. Studio 10 broadcasting, 8,737 different broadcasts on Facebook, and you should watch all of them because you will learn and further your knowledge and make decisions for yourself, which is what I tell you to do with Boogie with the Bull. So anyway, it's been my pleasure to be here. The dogs have already been fed. Delilah, I think, is ready to move back up to the bed. And I got some stuff I got to do around here. So at the least, I will be in the live chat on the American Rebellion. So come on in and join us and have fun. And you never know, sometimes I might pop on there. Oh, I forgot, Jen Woodruff, the homeschooling mom, is on the American Rebellion Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. I don't know if she's always on Saturday. She wasn't on, well, she came in late this Friday because she had said to me that she wasn't going to be able to do the 5 p.m. to 6:30 because they had plans. So I will check and make sure that she's going to be available for Boogie with the Bull Uncensored this Friday, 5 p.m. to 6:30. Want to be a guest on a broadcast? Like I said earlier, this last time I said, want to be a guest on a broadcast? Message me. Tell me who you are, what you are, when you are, and what you want to discuss. Tell us which one works best for you, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Wednesday, 5 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. on Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 noon on Saturday. And in the very near future, things may change. There may be some added broadcasts, but still working out those figures. They may not all include me, but they may be on Boogie with the Bull Uncensored, which is very well. I don't have to be a part of any broadcast that you do on the Boogie with the Bull platform. If you need a live producer, yeah, then I probably will be the live producer, but I don't have to be a part of your broadcast if it's not appropriate for me to be a part, or you don't want me to be a part. But if it's a broadcast people should see on Facebook, I will work with you. Okay, there's just more space than there is time for me to do myself, and I'm pretty well holden to the 3. But people ask all the time, so. If you ever thought about doing it, Boogie with the Bull Boot Camp is uncensored, and we would be very happy to work with you. Events coming up, don't forget, July 1st and 2nd in Guernseyville, Ohio, at the Guernseyville County Fairgrounds. United Freedom Festival. I knew I would remember it. United Freedom Festival. I forgot that notepad. United Freedom Festival, July 1st and 2nd at the Guernsey County Fairgrounds. If you put in United Freedom Festival, search it on Facebook, it'll bring you right to the event page where you can get a whole lot of information. Don't forget, in October, Patriot Rally in the Valley. I have to slow down because I always get tongue-tied. Patriot Rally in the Valley. If you type that in and search it on Facebook, Patriot Rally in the Valley, it will bring you to Angie Mae's Patriot Rally in the Valley event page, and you will get all of the information there. Patriot Rally in the Valley is held in the same place all the Patriot Rally in the Valleys have been held in before. It's a beautiful estate, resort, whatever you want to call it. It has hotel rooms available if you need them. There are places to park your RV and stay in your RV while they're there. There are areas, I believe, to set up tents and camp if that's what you want to do. Just a great place. So Patriot Rally in the Valley in October. Go to the Patriot Rally in the Valley Facebook event page for more information. And currently the executive producers are trying to coordinate getting Mac McGregor and Michael Bogus. I don't want to say bogus. Michael Bogus and Mac McGregor together. Mac is a returning lieutenant governor candidate for 2026, and Mike just ran for office in Georgia. And I thought it would be great to get the two of them together to get an update on what is going on in Georgia and how things are moving toward the 2024 Georgia elections, as we want to make sure things are handled a little differently this time in Georgia. Anyway, I'm Dave Wolin. You're not. This is the time in the program where I look at you and I go, Boogie with the Bull, Uncensored, is a copyrighted presentation of the No Budget Broadcasting Company. We own the logo in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. We own everything associated with the broadcast. We even own these beautiful ceramic coffee mugs. And you can be a conservative, patriot, Democrat and hold it in your right hand and support Boogie with the Bull Uncensored. You can be a conservative, patriot, God-fearing Republican and hold it in your right hand and show your support of Boogie with the Bull. And in the works is a Boogie with the Bull ceramic mug, travel mug. The ceramic mugs, one more time, ceramic mugs, the 15-ounce mug is $15.95 plus shipping. You can message me and I will let you know how to order one. We're in the process of working on a 20 ounce, possibly a 30-ounce travel mug, because I think more people would rather have the travel mug in their car than a ceramic mug. I like the ceramic mugs for here on the broadcast, and as I use a glass mug right now. But anyway, that is what is coming down the path. If you're interested in the 15-ounce ceramic mug, $15.95 plus shipping, message me and tell me, and I will put you in touch with how to get one. If you are interested in the travel mug, like I said, probably 20-ounce, unless we can get a good deal on doing a 30-ounce, then we will do that. But if you're interested in a travel mug, it'll be the clear plastic around a white with the Boogie with the Bull Uncensored logo on both sides of the mug. So if you're interested in that, please let me know. I will get you the pricing information as soon as that is working. And yes, sometime this summer, Boogie with the Bull Uncensored t-shirts will in fact come out. We're just trying to figure out the best way to get iron-on transfers and do it that way. They will go on the front of the shirt and on the back of the shirt. If people want, we can always negotiate something to put on the back of the shirt. We are not looking to make any money with them other than a small amount toward the StreamYard and Rumble costs. Other than that, we're not looking to make money, and we will donate money to appropriate charities. And more information on that later. I want to thank Danny Campbell for watching the broadcast. Danny has watched more Boogie with the Bull broadcast than anybody else in the 3-year plus history of Boogie with the Bull broadcast. So thank you, Danny, and anybody else who watched in any of the groups that we shared it to. If you enjoyed it, please make sure that you comment and show that, and we will keep sending it into that group. If you're the admin or a moderator of a group that we sent it to and you don't want it in that group, then let me know or put post approval on it, and then it's up to you. If you put post approval on a Boogie with the Bull broadcast because they're really only effective the day that we do them, and it's going to be 2 or 3 days or longer before you approve it, that's up to you if you want to approve it. But really, the best thing about Boogie with the Bull is being able to watch it live the day that it's on, or at least watch it as a podcast in any of our 4 private groups, as I mentioned earlier, and the Boogie with the Bull Uncensored public group, or anywhere else we can share it. So live well, prosper, live long, prosper, enjoy the rest of your day, and when you boogie, make sure you boogie with the Bull Uncensored. Oh, wait a minute, there we go.